Hello, my name is Trevor. This is a video about me and my life. I have like one subscriber on a different channel. You may never find this video, but I need to vent myself. And aside from hiring a therapist or burdening my friends, it's you, strangers of the internet, who will feel my burden. But this has to happen. Sooner or later, I have to expunge these demons. This is so damn raw, but it's got to be done. I was born in California, 1980, I should say. We moved to Tucson in 1993, and then Benson and Sunside. Finally, after a lot of growing up, we moved to Tucson in 2004, and that is when my life was turned into a tsunami of shit. Oh, and by the way, I did get saved in 1993. I am a Christian. That will come into play later. So, 2003, 2004, I'm in Tucson. And this is a point that my father starts to lose his mind. He slowly deteriorated into paranoid, OCD, accusatory, and my poor, unfortunate mom. God, I do miss my mother. My father, sure, on a good day, if I can scrunch up a memory to miss him. But for the most part, he made you hate him more than love him. He wasn't abusive except for emotionally and, verbally to a certain extent, but he's manipulative. And my mom was strong. Hell, the reason I am the man I am is because of my mother. Very strong and very good person. But slowly, my father's insanity took over. And so, this is the point. From 2004 to about 2010, nothing really happened. We drank. I spent a lot of time just being worthless, a bum. But so in 2001-ish, my grandmother had a stroke. My mother came out to Tucson to take care of my grandmother. About 2004, me and my father decided I don't want to be away from mom anymore. And so we chose to come back up to Tucson. Had we known what happened, we probably would have stayed. No. Moving to Tucson was a good idea. It just sucked so damn hard. So from 2004 to 2009 was bullshit. It was garbage. It was just garbage. It was just two guys drinking. Him blaming my mom, blaming everybody for the shit going on around him. And then 2010. Oh, 2010, I will always remember because that was the decline. That was when the shit hit the fan, truly. So, it was 2010. My father has reached peak shithead. And anyway. So, it was around then, yes. My grandmother dies in around 2012-ish. Yeah, my grandmother begins to die. And because of old age, she struck victim for 10 years. Sooner or later, her body just gave out. My grandfather dies before she does. He has cancer, stomach cancer. So my grandfather dies of cancer. Grandmother dies of old age. Then boom, my mother dies. She doesn't die. She gets cancer. As my grandfather's dying, as my grandmother's dying, my mom contracts cancer. She used to take care of this rock garden, her garden. Slowly, we noticed that she wasn't as active as she was, very... oh, there we go. 1 second. Turn off my air conditioner. We noticed that she was being very inactive, very lethargic. So, go get this taken care of. So she went to the doctors, and she had a infected gallbladder. Well, she didn't get to it in time. Infected gallbladder affected her liver, causing the liver to get cancer. It was either her liver or pancreas. I forget which one. It's been years now. So my mother contracts cancer, and there's a point. I remember distinctly. I was she was trying to do laundry. She's skin and bones. She's trying to do laundry, and I realized something. And this is where God becomes a major player in this moment in my life, the 2010s, is I recognized that everyone who goes back, oh, if I had one more day with my loved one, I was given knowledge that I at least had that last year with my mother, and I will always be thankful for that knowledge that I had that 1 year left. I knew this was my last year with my mom, and slowly she began to crumble, and uh, and then she passed. Now, keep in mind, I'm a bum. My father is an invalid and bum, and neither of us had anything to go back onto. So we're living on my mother, and it had been that. I mean, she was always the breadwinner. My father was a stay-at-home father. But as the time and as the shit began to trip down the fan, the meal ticket passed away, and all we had left was she was living on disability at this time, and so when she died, the disability ran out. Last check. So my grandfather's dead, my grandmother's dead, and my mother's just died. And we're living, I have been using my grandfather's house. Well, now my grandfather's house is it's the banks, and this is when God starts to really make a scene into this entire thing. Hell, I will never need proof that God exists after this. So the house is now foreclosed. It's a banks. It's a banks. We are squatting, and we squatted in this house. No electricity, no water, no gas. Oh, I don't know how long it was. I'm going to say 4 months. The bank is ridiculous about it. We got this huge collection of eviction notices because they're telling my grandfather he was being evicted because we weren't paying into the more whatever. I was very out of the loop on certain aspects of the bank, and so we were given this huge, like, entire forest worth of eviction notices. And it was at this point I applied at Walmart. Thankfully, Walmart, yeehaw. I applied at Walmart. So I got the job at Walmart. I have no money. I've been scrounging and selling whatever gold, jewelry, video, movies, anything I could find. And just to make get food into the house. Finally got the job at Walmart. And got a loan from a friend. Then we get evicted on in the bank. The bank was awesome about it. Two dudes walked up to the house, knocked on the door, go, "Hi, we're here to clean the place out. Do you need to get anything?" Very nice about it. Very cool about it. They just wanted us, hey guys, it's time, sorry, I have to go. So my mother, in her infinite wisdom, God's infinite wisdom, had a trailer. It was a camper on the back of a 1975 Chevy. Just a simple camper thing, but enough for two dudes. Because my father's still alive and I'm still alive. And so a neighbor of ours dragged the camper and the truck out into the cul-de-sac. It was a street that ended in a fence. The cul-de-sac, those places I just got evicted from. So I'm living in this camper and trying to make ends meet. We're out there for, I don't know how long. 90 days? Maybe longer. No one knew it. The place was being sold. The place was being sold. My father went out and talked to the people looking at the house. The place is literally being sold. It was purchased by the greatest woman on the face of the earth. She will always be, I'm not going to name names, but she's the greatest person. Finally, I was able to get an apartment as I started to get on my feet. And we were able to get an apartment. I had the $100 down, but I still required the proration for the apartment. And the new owner of my grandfather's house said, "I don't have. It was only $250, but I don't have the $250." And she hooked me up. The lady who purchased my grandfather's house helped me rent this house, my apartment. And I got into the apartment. And we were able to get rid of the camper. It was toast anyway. But yeah, there's much more information than just that. But it was such a moment in my life. You know, always it torments me at times. I still have PTSD from a lot of stuff that I had to go through. That I had to the stress of having an invalid father. I had nightmares about sitting out next to under a bridge, helping my father walk. Oh, there's a lot of things I look back on. But then every once in a while, every time I look at my job and go, I don't want to go to work or I'm tired, I remember the worst year of my life. And I always remember God's hand in that worst year and how I still alive. I haven't blown my brains out because God had my back through that entire situation. There's more. There's always more. As my mom's dying, but I thought that this was something I really, really need to share. It needs to be on the internet, not for you guys, but for me. Very few people are going to hear my story, so I decided to put my story out there in case anyone needs to see it. But yeah, I just had to get that out there. If you heard this, thank you for listening. Um, in the comments, share your story, or if you want to know more, I suppose. But this is the part I felt that the testimony that means a lot to me, and if nothing else, the contribution that God made. And before you ask, aren't you upset with it? No, no, no. Listen, the stuff that I went through was of my own making. I had no job. I had no prospects. Retrospect, hindsight's 2020 and all that. But that was my stuff. But I was living in a camper from an evicted house I was squatting in. I had literally nothing. And God pulled. My life was shit. My life was shit. But yet God found the golden tooth in the crap that I gave him. The absolute quagmire that was my life. My father's life too. He'd admit to that. Oh yeah, my father has passed. My father, that was completely. That just happened. But both of us were completely useless. We were useless. We had nothing to offer. Nothing to give God. And he was able to find something. And he brought me out of the crap life that I made for myself. So forever, thank you, God. You brought me where I am now. Thank you for listening.